Good afternoon, racing fans, and welcome in for a Saturday afternoon of live racing action here in downtown Lexington, Kentucky at the historic Red Mile. It's our final Saturday afternoon card of the season. Closing weekend of Grand Circuit racing action. We'll go through your changes and your programming notes in a couple of moments. At this time, we're going to sit it down trackside. Sandy Hadley with the singing of our national anthem as we honor America.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And again, good Saturday afternoon, and welcome aboard here for live racing action at the historic Red Mile. 12 races coming up at the top of the hour, right now 25 minutes away. Perfect weather conditions here in downtown Lexington. We're in the mid-70s, could top out at 80 degrees here with the sunny skies and a fast track. Couldn't possibly have any better weather for closing weekend of racing action. If you have out your racing programs, we'll go through the changes in the programming notes on this afternoon's 12-race program. The first race is clear, no changes in the opener. This afternoon's second race kicks off 50-cent pick 5, scratch 7 more than ever. Take out 7 more than ever. Race 2 kicks off at 50-cent pick 5. Third race kicks off the early pick 3. There are no changes in the early pick 3 sequence. Races 3, 4, and 5 are clear. Races 6 and 7 clear as well. Moving into the 8th race this afternoon, programming note on number 5, Lady Cameron, no Lasix. No Lasix for the 5 Lady Cameron in race 8. 9th race going to kick off the pick 4, $10,000 guaranteed pool this afternoon. There are no changes in race number 9. Races 10 and 11 are clear as well. The only change in the pick 4 sequence comes in race number 12. It's a driver change on number 2, Fox Valley Oscar to Jeremy Bobbitt. In the 12th race, driver change on 2, Fox Valley Oscar. That driver is Jeremy Bobbitt. And good afternoon. Welcome back in here for another beautiful day in downtown Lexington, Kentucky for live racing action at the Red Mile. 12 on tap today. I'm Gabe Pruitt, Dave Brower. Again, what a beautiful weekend to close things out.
You know, all the bad weather big days that we've had in our sport this year, maybe this weekend will make up for it. These are very pleasant conditions right now here in downtown Lexington, Kentucky. Here it's going to be a beautiful day of the races. A very good, challenging betting card, which we'll get into in just a few moments here. But a lot going on, too. We will memorialize a couple great horsemen in the early part of the card, Kevin Thomas and Ron Gerfine, so be prepared for those events. We'll speak to a couple of the connections as well. And Kevin Thomas, you know, this is your baby because you were close to him. You guys won a Kentucky Sire Stakes championship together.
Had a couple Kentucky Sire Stakes championships, so yeah, we miss Kevin. He suddenly passed away earlier this year, but happy to honor him here this afternoon with the Kevin Thomas Memorial going as race 1. And Ron Gerfine, of course, who had so many champions over the years here during the Grand Circuit meet at the Red Mile. It's going to be a special ceremony for him as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. You know, not his passing or stuff like that, but we're going to have all the horsemen come out from the paddock. We're going to form a horseshoe right there in front of the finish line. We're going to watch a little bit of video. You'll do some chatting, and I'll do some chatting as well. So again, the Guru. When I did the research and looked up the names and the 3 Hamiltonian champions and the 673 winners, and I'll tell you what, we are going to miss that guy, not only for his horsemanship as well, which was incredible, into the Hall of Fame as well, but because he was a character.
He really was. and late we get to read his columns, of course, at HRU. And I can't tell you how many restaurants I stepped in for the first time at the Guru's direction.
Well, he has carte blanche here in Lexington, too, or had, so, I get it. You get in right behind him like you're sitting in the 2-hole and you just follow him along and listen. Just listen to the stories here. Hey, listen, big night, final night of the sale. I'm going to talk to a couple people later on during the program about how gangbusters it has been, and tonight's a very important night for you.
Well, it's an important night for a lot of us. We hope Ohio and Indiana brand's going to sell tonight, part of the Midwest Consignment. I've got a couple in as well. Down by the Seaside Colt, down by the Seaside Philly, and that leads us into the beach party over at Diamond Creek Farm. They're going to get things underway there at 5 o'clock this afternoon. You've got free tacos, free margaritas, and everyone is invited there out of the Fasig-Tipton Sales Pavilion to that beach party. If you and I are invited, that means everyone's invited.
I know, that's true, because they don't want our type in there, but those are fun guys and gals, and we look forward to that as well. I'm hoping to sneak in for like a quickie, I guess, right at start time at about 5 o'clock before I head out for dinner. But lots going on as well. We've got a 12-race card today. We'll get to that. Here's the list of our special guests that we're going to talk to on the stage as it stands right now. The boss, Mr. George Siegel, will be with us after race number 2. Of course, the co-owner of the Red Mile here and the Brittany Farms here. A little later on, we're going to have Sugar Valley Farms' Joe McLeod. We always have a little chit-chat session with him so we can talk sale, Sugar Valley Farm, the Jug Week that we all survived. And a late addition to the roster, Cameo Hills Farms, Steve Jones. So we can talk about the sale. They're doing gangbusters business over there in New York. He'll probably even have a couple in Harrisburg. We'll get all the details. He's the guy that stands Huntsville and So Surreal, who have made such an impact, on the pacing side of things. Not only just in New York, but all Grand Circuit type races.
Yeah, Huntsville's have been huge this year, part of their first crop, and the 12th and final race this afternoon, named in honor of Huntsville today. So yeah, it's be great to catch up with Steve. They've had a big week over the sales pavilion. I believe everyone's had a big week over there. They topped out over $50 million now in gross sales through 4 sessions. They had already broken a record after the 3rd session, so it's gravy, as they say, from there. But another huge night last night when you look at day 4 comparisons in the past. So it was a big night. And I think with that Midwest theme tonight, the things are going to rock and roll as well.
Right, tonight will be even bigger than last night. What a way to go out after just a celebratory kind of a week. And I'm not just talking about the consigners and sellers and stuff like that. I think the buyers are happy to be there. We've seen so many people perusing the fairgrounds, people that we haven't seen maybe, in a couple of years due to the pandemic and things like that. Lots of folks here, lots of good horses, good, pretty horses that will become future champions. No matter what happens, this sale always produces future champions, and it's produced, 2 or 3 Hamiltonian winners in a row.
Including the one from this year. Captain Corey was a Fasig-Tipton Lexington Select yearling purchase. And yes, you see with the opportunities in the sport, Kentucky, of course, tripling what we have to offer here in the Sire Stakes locally. Dual eligibilities. You've got New Jersey. They just stepped up with some added stakes, as we mentioned there the other day. So the opportunities out there if you're an owner, and the owners are responding with those bids fast and furious, as they should be.
Well, there's plenty of money to race for. So, if you get yourself a good one and you have a good eye, and just get a little bit lucky. Everybody needs to get a little bit lucky in this business, whether it's, picking out a racehorse or a yearling or whatever. But looking forward to it. It will be interesting to see how they map out the stake schedule for next year. Thank God that's not, yours or my job. That's for the racing secretaries when they get down to Florida. I guess in about another month or so they have that meeting. But we got to find dates for everybody, and we've got to spread it out so that there are no potential conflicts, and that's very difficult.
Well, sometimes conflicts aren't a bad thing, because if you own one, you get maybe a little lesser competition in some of those races that do conflict. But nonetheless, big money's on the line, and we've got a big card here tomorrow. We don't want to. We'll get into today's action very soon, but to talk to us about that card, it's really going to continue to elevate as the day goes on tomorrow day, because we've got the Philly Futurity, then we got the Tattersall's Pace, and we are going to close things out with the headliner, the Kentucky Futurity, better than $560,000 on the line. Great betting races, 12 at each of those featured events. It is going to be quite the closing day. The weather's shaping up to be perfect as well.
What a way to end the meet, with those 3 races back to back to back, and it's going to be fun. Other Tattersalls, the later division as well, plus a couple other stakes. The weather, again, will not be a problem. We're looking forward to it. We have been graced with the official 129th Kentucky Futurity Trophy right here. That's why we have an armed guard standing right over there to make sure that you and I don't abscond off with it. Got a couple of hats again, lots of other things to do. And, you know, in case you've been watching, we try to coordinate our wardrobe each and every day. These are brand new shirts that Jeremy down in the gift shop provided to us. He is still fully stocked down there. So whatever you do, do not leave the place tomorrow or today, later on after the races, without stopping in to see him. You know, we thank him for his support, and he makes us look good.
He does, and we've got a little Kentucky blue on here as well, part of this Red Mott's game day here in Lexington. 2.5-point favorite for entertainment purposes only. It's gone down a little bit. That's scary, but we're having a big year. Hopefully that continues across town tonight, but we'll dive into the racing action today. Dave, get to handicap at the card. We saw another 5-figure payout here yesterday. We've seen 2 5-figure payouts already during the Grand Circuit meet. Of course, we had that 50-cent pick 5 last Sunday that returned better than $50,000 to one winner. The pick 4 yesterday afternoon, the one bomb. Fantasy Hanover, one winning ticket out, returned over $10,000.
Now I'm a little upset with you because I know you have sources and steam and everything. You can't find out who these winning ticket holders are. Come on,
brother. You know, no one claimed that one from yesterday either. So we've got 2 unknown. Maybe they realize we'll need a little holding money, so they're keeping things
we're
quiet.
out of dinner money by this point in the meet.
They're keeping things quiet at the moment. 16 minutes to the opener. We'll dive right into the 12-race card today. We do start things off that Kevin Thomas Memorial. The 2-year-old trotting fillies. Dave, I couldn't have been any more impressed with last year's Lexington sales topper. That's number 6, Jaya Bay. That was her first career start. She throttled through the lane there, got up to win 54-2. Of course, she was a $725,000 ticket here last fall. She's daughter of the great Mission Brief from the first crop of Walner. Jaya Bay, I don't see how she doesn't repeat. It's the same field.
As long as she doesn't make any mistakes. You know, it's been a work in progress, and I said this last week. I'll say it again in case you didn't hear back then. When I asked Marcus Melander, when I ship into town and I see these guys out and about, I say, who are you most looking forward to racing over the next few weeks? And Marcus said, Jaya Bay. You know, I thought that was an incredible answer, and his thoughts were rewarded with that nice off-the-pace win last time. Ryan Sears teaching her to race and finish from off the pace. It wasn't an easy trip, but then when he called to her late, she responded and just exploded.
That was the most impressive part. She had a quick burst, that final 16th of a mile or so, what he did finally call on her, and who knows, she could be a late-season sensation as we head into the major stakes here to close out the 2021 calendar. The second race is our first stake of the day, first division, the International Money. We kick off the 50-cent pick 5 here. Dave, scratch 7 more than ever. A lot of favorites going to be on this card today. We know that. So I'm going to try and upset her here early in the day. And yes, I know she has her work cut out for her. I know she's going to have to step up and prove it. But it's a 6 Fashion Scooter. I loved her mom, Broadway Scooter, of course, a major stakes filly for Jim Campbell and the crew. But Fashion Scooter, she was well spotted to strike here last week, top of the stretch, really for what appeared to be no reason. She made a break in stride. I thought she was going to finish up very nice there, raised by Lindy, of course. The 5 ended up as a runaway winner after she made that break in stride. So I'm going to stick with her one more time here, give her a chance to rebound. Last week she was the 4-5 favorite. She's going to be 5, 6, 7 to 1 today. So I'll follow up one more time with Fashion Scooter.
I couldn't believe she made that break because this is a filly that absolutely is loaded with talent. We saw it in her one and only qualifier at the Meadowlands and then the follow-up effort where she finished very, very well. I think eventually, when she learns her job, she will be great for trainer Jim Campbell. Of course, you mentioned the pedigree, which is immaculate. You know, Tim Tetrick, of course, will try to race her conservatively again today, but I don't want to see any mistakes. I didn't see any reason for it either. You know, I was watching that race, you know, trackside right by the finish line, so it's hard to see what goes on. I just saw somebody running. I'm like, oh my God, that's Fashion Schooner.
Yeah, it was a tough break. Now, you obviously paid a lot of attention to the choice here. Dexter Dunn had a big one to make. A little bit of Lexus over Selfie Queen.
You know, you can't blame him for this this choice. Selfie Queen's pretty good too, but a little bit of Lexus has been exceptional. I mean, the last couple of seasons here at the Red Mile, Nifty Norman and his crew and his gang and the Pinskys, they have just won all kinds of races. I don't think we know how good she is yet. Maybe we'll find out a little bit more today. She'll be on to the Breeders' Crown after this. For Team Pinsky as well. She's a little bit more reliable than Fashion Schooner, so I'm going to wish you luck with that.
Yeah, she is. There's some nice fillies. That's a loaded group there in race 2, so we'll see how it shakes out. Third race, first division of the Tall Dark Stranger International Stallion Stake. On the pace here, Gulf Shores, the 4 in there, Dave. Undefeated arriving at Lexington last week. Had a little bit of a rough start. He didn't get out of the gate quite so well. A little rough gated there. Ended up not the best of trips. Still rallied. He came up just short of runner-up. But to stick with the set it down by the seaside here, Gulf Shores, and look for a rebound type effort, but it won't be easy here taking the likes of Early Action.
I like Early Action, and he will be the better price. Gulf Shores, I'm sure everybody who bet on him last week, sending him off at 1 to 5, will be right back today. He does get a better post, and like you said, sometimes it takes a race over any track just to acclimate here. Ronnie Wren will have him moving earlier, I guess is the best way to say that. And if they hook up Turner for home, that could be a real good stretch slugfest, as I like to say.
And Diamond Creek as co-owners of Gulf Shores. The beach party could really be cranked up if Gulf Shores could rebound and get it done there today in race 3. The 4th race, 2nd division of the International Money, $78,000 and change on the line. This is quite the heavyweight bout here. I saw it between the two favorites. The 1 Miss Walner Fashion, the 6 Date Night. They're going to take all the play, but you've got a Dave Brower special here that's going to fly under the radar a bit, I think, is the 3rd choice.
My favorite guy to bet, especially when there's a price and there's some talent involved, is trainer George Ducharme. And I know you wouldn't argue with that. He is capable of producing any kind of good horse, especially trotters here. Cash Infusion, Mark Mack, he's slammed right in the middle between those two favorites. So I want to see speed like we did in his last start, or her last start at the Meadowlands, daughter of Chapter 7 here. She's going to get a nice trip after that, and I think she's going to explode down the stretch. To put a scare into both or one of those favorites, the price will be right.
You know, and I couldn't hardly separate the two favorites in there. I thought Miss Walner Fashion off the break in stride might get off a little better price in Date Night. She comes off that 150 and 4 win, was just 1/5 of a second off the world record, Mission Briefs world record. So Date Night, I just thought would take the majority of the action there. Decided to give the slight edge to Miss Walner Fashion, and it wouldn't shock me if your filly did win. Cash Infusion, she's been racing so well against a little bit of Lexus. We know she's a very talented filly there that was in the earlier division. So that's a good group there going to post in race 4 in perfect weather conditions. We'll see what happens there in terms of any record type events as well. 5th race, another division of the Tall Dark Stranger. Loaded group here, and we've got the favorite on the outside, Pebble Beach. He got nailed right at the very end of it here last week, and you and I are both going to try and take a swing to possibly beat up here as well.
And it was Early Action who did get by him, so keep that in mind. If Early Action were to come back and win again today, maybe you could add a couple of points to Pebble Beach. Pebble Beach set a pretty fast pace for that particular day there, and he probably needs to be under control maybe a little bit more at this point. But that outside post is probably not going to allow that today for his driver, Todd McCarthy. So give me the horse that I know loves this track, and that is Caviar Camden. You called that race back on, I think, August 24th there. Home in 26 and 1 to win in what? 148 and 3?
148 and 3. Now the co-fastest 2-year-old of all time. He is the world record holder for a 2-year-old colt, in fact. And he got by Pebble Beach. No, Pebble Beach did a lot of the heavy lifting in that race, Dave. He carved out those fractions that were just incredible there in that world record type of performance. But nonetheless, Caviar Camden got by him. Very impressive. And I'm like you. I thought if Pebble Beach had to pay a quick toll to make the lead in that race today, that perhaps Caviar Camden is a horse that sits in. We've seen so many closers over this track. The front end not holding up near as well as it even has in the past. Red Mile has always been one of the fairest tracks in the world, but I would say it's almost been a closer bias the first little bit of Grand Circuit racing. We had some weather earlier, so we'll see if that starts to average out a little bit. But Caviar Camden, for me, I think he's going to get off at a decent price in there as well.
Well, it won't be bad. Maybe it'll be 2 to 1, 5 to 2, give or take.
I'll take the over. I think
okay,
over.
All right. If Pebble Beach is 4 to 5 even money, 6 to 5, we'll see how the bettors decide to do that. We have had a bunch of big favorites go down to defeat, up to this point at the Red Mile, and like you said, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the track is playing more towards closers and finishers than speed demons on the lead.
And we like that. Typically, I get a very fair service, probably the fairest service at all of Artist Racing right here in Lexington. 6th race to close out the Pick 5, another division of the International Money. We've got a big favorite here on the morning line, Dave, Joviality, and I did not see any way around this daughter, Chapter 7. She's been so incredible. 6 of 8, comes off a big win at the Kentucky Anna there at Hoosier Park. She's tough to go against. She's awesome, in a word. And I told Marcus when we were talking to him after a win in the Winter Circle yesterday, the Diamond Creek Farm Winter Circle, by the way. I said, I really knew you were going to I thought you would have a bigger second week than first week. And he gave me a couple reasons why. I'm going to keep that info to myself at this point. Maybe we'll reveal some of that throughout the day. But Joviality, maybe she's the best bet of the day. I don't know. I don't see how she looks like the surest bet of the day. We could say that. And you and I are both going to toss on the Harrisburg sales topper, the runner-up spot. That's the 3 Delilah Hanover. She was hammered down for $440,000. Hasn't got maybe near the headlines of her stablemate, Vitterate, that took the Mohawk Million. But nonetheless, Delilah Hanover's talented filly in her own right. We'll both toss her underneath.
2-3-5. It's rare for us to have the same top 3.
Well, they did give us the winner, though, so it's not quite as impressive as it could be, I suppose. 7th race, Tall Dark Stranger, another division, $93,000 change on the line. What do you know about the 4 Luke Perry?
Hoping he bounces back. He made a very inexperienced type, jammed up in the hole mistake last time. The Burke Brigade think they have that now under orders, but he's going to have to face a very classy horse in number 3, Monty Mickey. And if you want to read more about Mark Evers and Velocity Standardbreds and Monty Mickey, go to ustrotting.com. Good piece put out, I think, by Ken Weingardner earlier this week. That was an amazing trip. He went in the Metro, coming from the clouds. Looked like he had no chance, and somehow he got there. So those two are going to hook up at some point, provided Luke Perry wants to play today and not make any mistakes, and should be good sprint home.
And I was, that was what a great story for Monty Mickey as well. Love to read that story. I was actually at South on September 2nd when he won the 2-year-old winners of one no more than 3. I didn't think I was watching the Metro winner that coming out of that race that night, but what a story. What an impressive rally for Monty Mickey. But Luke Perry, again, lots of buzz there for the brother Toulouse Pearlman. We'll see if he can step up and deliver. Race 7 today. You and I both looking for a bounce back effort. 8th race at overnight event. It's the Mac Cuddy Memorial. In the 8th race, we've got denominators of 1 on the trot and stiff drink. Dave, I'd like to qualify here. $80,000 Walter from last fall here in Lexington. Fred Hertrick, the owner. You got Julie Miller, of course, very prominent with trotters. Stiff drink, I know we are not going to get 6-1 in this one.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. He's either going to win probably or, I don't know, maybe have something. I don't know what happened back on September 7th here, but it certainly wasn't good. Since then, the hobbles went on. The second qualifier was awesome in 54 here. You do see the G next to his age, so he's been gelded. I don't know if he was gelded before, then, now, or whenever. We don't have that information, but Gonna take a good long look at him scoring down out on the track after the post parade, and that kind of gives me an idea of whether I think he's ready to perform today.
And I think that's a good idea as well. I'll be doing the same. Couple of pretty good ones there. He was in the qualifier against Bonanza. Was the $600,000 yearling purchase. We saw him make a break yesterday. Nicky the Dud actually raced very well, so I believe he was out of a good qualifier there locally as well. 9th race, again, it kicks off the pick 4. No carryover today. There was 1 ticket out yesterday. Hopefully it was you, better than $10,000. So we start fresh today, and this is a wide open head scratcher to kick it off.
I had to use 3 in my pick 4 ticket in the program, 2, 4, and 6 here. I ended up going for Just for Tricks on top. Don't know a whole lot about trainer Mike Murphy or this son of Trixton, but I see that he likes the track. He's rounded into form. He's got a good inside post, and Andy Miller knows him now.
I agree, and I thought last time I picked the 2 Just for Tricks were on to the 9th race. Now, I thought that he might get the lead and just rolled along at a field maybe with some question marks. He did not make the lead. He set the pocket, but I think today he does get out of there and he makes the lead, so I'm on Just for Tricks as well, but not an easy affair in race 9. We'll move on to the 10th race now. Get on to the 10th race. Couple of races down the road. Kicks off the late pick 3. This is the Arts Place. I landed on number 2, Fluff. Yeah, good early speed last out over the off track. Chased home a very tough rival, and I'm going to come back with him here and try him on top.
I will too. Now listen, new driver today. Tim Teacher is going to take over for Andy McCarthy. He had another commitment in there, but I'd love that speed tightener. First trip over the track. You show speed over this track in their first start, you're usually going to have a little more stamina and ability in the second start. Post relief, Tim Tetrick, speed. What, should I go on or should I just stop right there?
I think that's good enough. Our man Sam Bowie ended as a co-owner there on the 6th Captain Butler. Congratulations to him. Hot Mess Express picked up their stakes win at Hoosier Park last night, so good luck to him and the connections there on Captain Butler. Race 10 today as well. 11th race, International Money. It's our final stake of the afternoon. And I knew you were going to be on the same filly as me here. Brick House Babe, talk to us about her. I know you've been a huge fan of hers for a long time. I liked the try last week here, and I think she lands in maybe a little bit of softer division overall this afternoon.
Well, she doesn't have to face a little bit of Lexus. That's the first thing that you want to do. She gave her a really good tussle, was really used hard throughout the season. She's been developed wonderfully by the master, Mr. Ray Schnitger, 2-year-old filly, daughter of Walner. Steve Jones owns a piece of her, so I guess we can talk to him about that a little bit later on, how excited he is. And I agree, from that good inner post, she's going to be hard to beat.
Okay, 12th race is the Huntsville to close out today. Super high 5 wagering. I looked at this race over and over and over. We've ended up on the same horse. I know you're on him. Probably the same reason I am. Just speed and a field full of question marks. I thought he would leave out. May try and cut this mile out. And this is a pretty tricky group to close out the day.
It is, but speed and the rail and Andy McCarthy. I mean, Steve said just kind of got rolling a little too quick up front last time. Maybe he can save a little bit of that energy for the stretch. Andy McCarthy drove him to a win previously, so I think they can send us home in the super high 5.
And not the type of race I want to take a short price on for sure. One other note, Dave Brower, the Round Barn is open. It opened at 10 a.m. this morning. They're open until 5 p.m. today. Same for tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Go check them out. All sorts of great memorabilia and items. Check them out at the Round Barn. Again, they're open right now, 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. Best of luck here on the Saturday card as they step on the track for the opener.
Gabe a minute to run upstairs. Gotta give Gabe a minute.
Trotting fillies on the track for the C. Kevin Thomas Memorial. First $10,000 Gerardo changes, kicks off the early double. The one She's a Scorcher. Linda Toscano trains. Scott Zeron drives for Ryan Smith. Number 2 is Aldebaran Acrux. Jonas Searson trains for Aldebaran Park Incorporated with Andy McCarthy. 3 Money Moves Mountains. Domenico Cecere trains. Dexter Dunn wears the colors of the Lindy Farms, the Moneymaker stable. 4 is Danica. Annette Lorenzen trains for James Wildhite Jr., Dave Miller. Number 5, Dancing on the Wall. Domenico Cecere trains. Yannick Jingra wears the colors of Lindy Farms for KR Breeding LLC. 6, Jaya Bay. Marcus Melander trains for Courant Incorporated with Brian Sears. And number 7 is Silent Night. Jonas Searson trains at the Constance Racing Stable. Todd McCarthy at the controls. That's a field with the first race. Gerardo changes. Looking to the back half of the double race 2. Scratch 7 more than ever. Take out the 7 in race 2. Crawford Farm starting gate is moving into position. It's post time for this afternoon's first race. Starter call. It's the C. Kevin Thomas Memorial. Kevin, a longtime director of the Kentucky Harness Horsemen's Association, over 2 decades on the board of the KHHA. Had a couple of Hambletonian starters, 2004 and 2006. A couple of his best trotters, Duke, and Justice Hall. Many Kentucky Sire Stakes championships. His most recent, Mount Sterling Mafia. Has his own self-written software, still very popular in the industry. Horse Sense. Wife Marcia on hand here this afternoon. Emily Alex and Lauren Grace watching from off track at C. Kevin Thomas Memorial, 2-year-old trotting fillies lined up for this afternoon's first race. Field of 7, they are on gate. And they are off and trotting. Danica goes sprinting out quickly from the center of the track, dancing on the wall. Also hustles out in between fillies, and Jaya Bay is flashing some early speed as they move towards that opening turn with Muddy Moves Mountains. Moving through that at the inside as Danica does take over the top. Dancing on the wall. Continues up on the outside for Jingrod. Jaya Bay continues to make steady progress. She's up third. Muddy Moves Mountains under a very tight rein down at the inside fourth. She's a Scorchers following from the inside fifth in front of Aldebaran Acrux. And Sada Night is the back marker. Contested opening quarter in 28 and 2. And the heavy favorite Jaya Bay at 1-5. She works up and clear of Dancing on the Wall. Danica tracks now in behind the top pair in third. Muddy Moves Mountains following fourth. She's too clear. She's a Scorcher. As Aldebaran Acrux continues in sixth, and at the back, that's Sada Night. Single file cross Sia backstretch. The big favorite getting plenty of respect. Jaya Bay continues to pave the way here. Past the half, 55 and 3. Solid tempo for the favorite Jaya Bay. And she carries that speed out of the far turn. Aldebaran Acrux made a break near the back, but it's still Jaya Bay who's uncontested. Dancing on the Wall is biding her time in second, but Danica still tracking from third. Muddy Moves Mountains. Angles wide from fourth. She's still got 4 lengths to make up. In front of She's a Scorcher. As Sada Night looks to tighten it and far back to Aldebaran Acrux. They trot to the top of the stretch. Jaya Bay still there, dancing on the wall. Looking to pounce from the pocket with Muddy Moves Mountains. Moving up at the outside third. 3/4 up in 124 and 1. Jaya Bay maintains a short lead. Dancing on the Wall, inching in down the center. Muddy Moves Mountains third. She's a Scorcher fourth. Jaya Bay battles with Dancing on the Wall. It's Jaya Bay still a short lead. She's hand-driven down at the inside. Dancing on the Wall, chasing her home second. Muddy Moves Mountains third. Jaya Bay sharp today. Jaya Bay all the way. Dancing on the Wall was second. Muddy Moves Mountains third. She's a Scorcher fourth at 153 and 2. Six five 3-1 at official race 1. 6-5 3-1. Returning trackside for the Diamond Creek Farm Winners presentation, this is Jaya Bay. Now 2 for 2 to begin her career. Marcus Molander, the trainer. Brian Sears in the bank for the winning effort. For Courant Incorporated of Delray Beach, Jaya Bay. 2-year-old brown filly by Walner from the Muscle Hill World Champion mare Mission Brief. Bred by the Mission Brief stable. 2 for 2. The winning effort this afternoon, 153-2. Jaya Bay takes the Kevin Thomas Memorial to kick off the Saturday action. And we're honored to have Kevin's wife, Miss Marsha Thomas, trackside to make the trophy presentation to the winning connections of Jaya Bay. Prices up. The results are official. Number 6, Jaya Bay, worth $260, $210, and $210. Second to the 5, Dancing on the Wall, $260, $240. Third to the 3, Money Moves Mountains, $10 even. Exacta, Popular, $4.20. The $1 trifecta, $25.20. 20-cent superfecta was $10.78. Official rundown. And for the first race, She's a Scorcher, finished 4th. Number 2, Aldebaran Acrux, 7th. 3, Money Moves Mountains, 3rd. Number 4, Danica, 5th. 5, Dancing on the Wall was 2nd. 6, Jaya Bay, the winner. 7, Silent Night, finished 6th. Rechecking. Time down, it's 4-7-3, 5-2-1, and 6 on the bottom. Jaya Bay in 153-2. And in just a couple of moments, we're going to sit it downstairs. Dave Brower is standing by with a very special guest this afternoon. We've got Miss Marsha Thomas trackside. Get the Kevin Thomas Memorial Race 1. Kevin, longtime director of the KHJ, a great friend of mine and many others. And we're honored to remember him this afternoon with Race 1.
Thank you very much, Gabe. I know Kevin Thomas was very special to you and all of the other horsemen here in Kentucky, and we are proud to be joined by his wife today, Marsha Thomas. Special presentation in memoriam for Kevin, who we lost in July. I did a little homework. I didn't know he was one of 7 children and that he was an integral part of the Kentucky Harness Horsemen's Association here. So he took pride in not only his job as a trainer, but to take care of the rest of the horsemen here too.
Yeah, he was a big supporter of the Kentucky Association and Kentucky Sire Stakes, and he tried to race every year in the Sire Stakes, and he wanted to keep them going and make the purses bigger every year, make it better for the horsemen in Kentucky.
Every once in a while, you get to take the show on the road, and he actually got to race not once but twice in the Hambletonian. That had to be a special moment for all of you.
Oh, it was. He was so proud of the horses that he had, and it was probably 2 of the greatest moments of his life to take a horse to the starting gate for the Hambletonian. He also had one in the Little Brown Jug one year, and of course we won the New Jersey Sire Stakes the New Jersey Governor's Cup one year with one of Doc Cummins' horses, and that was a big event in our life too.
He's had a couple of good ones, but Justice Hall, I think, was the one that always stands out. Your memories of how much fun that was to watch him race and compete at the sport's very top level.
It was so exciting. Our daughter Emily and I cheered that horse on for, the beginning races up to the biggest races of the sport, and it was some of our greatest memories that we'll always treasure.
The guy that's standing up there in the announcer's booth, too, he's got some great memories as well, including standing right here in the winner's circle with one of 2 Kentucky Sire Stakes champion, Mount Sterling Mafia. You know that's where Gabe is from, so if you've had anything to say to him, give it to him up in the booth there.
Hey, Gabe, thanks for everything. We love you, guy.
We all love him, too, and we love you, too, as well, Mrs. Thomas. I know this is emotional, but listen, he's about to get the justice that he deserves here. The C. Kevin Thomas Memorial Race, the one, and thank you so much for joining us and being here today.
Thank you.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Captain Treacherous, 2020's leading sire of 3-year-old pacers by earnings, including 3-year-old pacing filly Party Girl Hill, Adios winner Catch the Fire, as well as top 2-year-olds Blue Diamond Eyes and Marcella Hanover. Captain Treacherous yearlings averaged over 82,000 in 2020, with 16 selling for over 100,000. The Captains dominate on the racetrack and in the sales ring. Set sail with the Captain, standing at Hanover Shoe Farms.
Since 1982, Cane Run Farm has been breeding champions such as Moneymaker, Magician, David's Pass, Dorsey, Habitat, Dene, Nan's Catch, Propulsion, and On a Streak. Stop by and find your future champion at Cane Run.